your fluency to start off today is times and then divided by 10, 100 and 1,000. So remember, I would be expecting to see a place value grid for this, so you might want to draw yourself on those before you start. If you are not timing yourself, then please feel free to pause the video and then the answers will be later in the video. If you are timing yourself, then you've got 30 seconds and your time starts now. Now the challenge from yesterday, so there was a compound shape here, which remember is just two simple shapes put together, and it asked if there was more than one way to find out the area. The answer is yes. Here's two examples of how you could have split that shape into two different shapes to help you find the area. And there also was another way, so it asked if you could do 6 times 6 as if it was a square and then take away the part that's missing, so do the 3 times 2. So any of those solutions would have been fine. If you've come up with another one, I can think of one other solution and I'd love to see them, send them to our email address. The actual area of that shape, if you figured it out, is 30 metres squared. We are continuing to look at area today in the area of compound shapes. And I would like you, first of all, to pause the video and make a list of as many things in real life where you would need to know the area of something, in particular a compound shape. So think about those irregular shapes that have been put together. Where would you need to know the area to calculate something? Give me a spider diagram and then send it to our email address. There are lots of examples of this. Things that come to my mind are things when we are trying to figure out the area of something, perhaps for laying some flooring or some carpet. So we've got irregular shaped rooms normally in our houses, or perhaps you wanted the area for a piece of glass in your house. There's lots and lots of possibilities, and I'd love to see what you've come up with. Here's the first compound shape that I want you to have a look at. Remember, a compound shape is more than one simple shape that's put together. So here's the shape that I've drawn for you, and again, a bit like our challenge, there's more than one way that you can split this up. So what I recommend is you draw this out on a piece of paper and split it up in as many different ways as you can and see how that helps you to calculate the area of the shape. I'm going to go through one of the ways that you could split this shape into two different shapes. So I did it by splitting this here, so I created this rectangle and this rectangle. So to find out the area of this rectangle here, I needed the length, which is 4 metres, times by the width, which is 3 metres. 4 times by 3 is 12 metres squared. That's just for this section here. Now I've got this rectangle. So to work out the area of this rectangle, I need the length, which is 10 metres, times by the width. Now the width is at the top here, which is 2 metres. So the area of this rectangle is 20 metres squared. I haven't finished though, because I wanted to know the area of the whole compound shape, so I need to add these two together. So the area equals 20 metres squared plus 12 metres squared. And that gives us the answer of 32 metres squared for my whole compound shape. Now you might have done it in a different way, and that's absolutely fine. So you might have split your shape across here. Okay, so you might have worked out this part here by doing 2 times by 7, that's fine. And then this rectangle by doing 6 times by 3. You should have got the same answer. Here's the next compound shape for you to have a look at. Again, I recommend that you draw it out and label all of the information that you have before you split it into the different shapes to help you find the area. Remember, the area is the inside of the shape and you need to do the length times by the width. Okay, so we're not just adding these together because the outside parts are the perimeter. Today I just want to focus on area. If you've done that, see if you can find more than one solution as to how to break up the shape and see if you get the same answer. Here's the first way that you could have split up your shape. You could have drawn a line across here which creates this rectangle and this rectangle. So to figure out the area of this rectangle here, we need to do the length, which is 5 metres, times by the width, which is 3 metres. So the area of this rectangle here is 15 metres squared. Now be careful using the correct information, because I've got 9 metres here, but that's for the full length of this compound shape. So we need to be selecting that information that shows which part of the shape we're looking at. Then we need to look at this rectangle here. So the length of my shape is this side here, the 9 metres. And then the width of my shape, well, I haven't got it here, but it's over here for me, 4 metres. So this 6 metres I don't actually need. So we need to do 9 times by 4, and that gives us 36 metres squared. Now again, this isn't complete, because to find out the area of the whole compound shape, we need to add them together. So the area equals 36 plus the 15 gives us 51 metres squared. Here's the same compound shape but split into 2 different ways. So first of all, there's our new line, and for this rectangle we've done 9 times by 3 to find the area, which is 27 metres squared. Then the next rectangle we do 6 times by 4, which is 24. Then we add both of those areas together and we get the same answer of 51 metres squared. So don't worry if you've done it a different way. There is also a third way to do it, to split it into 3 shapes. Here's your next shape. This one is slightly more difficult because there's some information missing. So same as before, I recommend that you pause the video and draw it out. The first thing that I would do is fill in your missing information, then split it into your different shapes to find out the area. See if you can find more than one solution. Here's the first way that you could have split these shapes up. So I split it first across here. So that meant that I've got this rectangle here, which I've got all of the information for. I've got my length, which is 8 metres, and the width, which is 5 metres. So I did 8 multiplied by 5, which gives us 40 metres squared. Now the next part, I've got the length, but I don't have the width. It's not 12 metres because that's the full length of this side here. So to figure out this part, well, I know what this part is here and the opposite side. So we need to do 12, take away the 5, which comes to here, and that leaves us with 7. So this side of my rectangle must be 7 metres. So now to find out the area of this rectangle, we need to do 7 multiplied by 5. And that gives us 35 metres squared. Now the same as before, these are just 2 separate shapes, but I want to know the combined area of the compound shape. So we do 40 plus 35, and the area 75 metres squared. Here's another way that you could have split this compound shape into 2 shapes. So by splitting off that small section, the large rectangle that we're left with, we do 5 times by 12, which gives us 60 metres squared. And then the small rectangle, we need to find out the width. So we do 8 subtract 5, which gives us 3. So then our width times our length is 5 times by 3, which is 15 metres squared. Same as before, we add these together and we get the same answer of 75 metres squared. There is a third way to do this as well. So if we created this into a full rectangle, then we could do 8 times by 12, which gives us 96 metres squared. But then we need to take away that section that isn't there. So to figure that out, we find out our missing side. So we've figured out the 3 metres. And then the other side is 12 subtract 5, which gives us 7. So 7 times by 3 is 21 metres squared. So to find the whole area, we do the 96, subtract the 21 metres that isn't there, and again it leaves us with the 75 metres squared. That's all for today. Your task is over on Purple Mash. You just need to read the information really carefully and recap all those things that we've been talking about with length times by width for your area. For each of the questions, I would recommend that you draw them out and label that missing information to help you. There is today's challenge coming up, and a tip for that would be to make note of the unit of measure. Any attempts at that, or anybody that can't get onto the purple mash, please send it to us via email.